Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through all that noise,
Yeah.
trying to tackle one of those big financial questions. How do you actually build real lasting wealth, especially when you're just bombarded with advice, market chatter? It's a lot. Yeah, it's easy to feel kind of overwhelmed, right? Or chase the latest thing or just freeze. So, to help us navigate this, we've really gone deep into the elements of investing. It's by two, well, legends in finance. Burton Malkiel and Charles Ellis. If those names sound familiar, they should. Malkiel wrote A Random Walk Down Wall Street, a classic, and Ellis gave us Winning the Loser's Game. Exactly. And together, they've basically distilled, decades of wisdom into this incredibly clear, concise playbook. It feels like a really solid guide for anyone serious about their long-term financial health. Our mission today: pull out the most powerful insights from their work. This isn't just a book report, though. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding the core ideas that really matter, so you can sidestep the common traps and hopefully make smarter choices. And here's the interesting bit, the sort of punchline they keep returning to: building wealth. It's apparently not about having some secret sauce or trying to beat the market. It's more about discipline, consistency, and maybe most importantly, just avoiding the big, often emotional mistakes. Okay, let's unpack this. So, Malkiel and Ellis kick things off with something that honestly goes against a lot of the hype you hear. They argue the main goal isn't being some stock picking genius. It's more about sticking to a low cost, disciplined, consistent approach, just keeping you in the market. What exactly do they mean by that, in the market versus trying to beat it? And why is that distinction so critical?
It's a huge shift in mindset, really.
Yeah.
Most people, when they start investing, they imagine, finding the next big thing, the next Google. They want to outperform everyone. But Malkiel and Ellis show pretty convincingly that trying to beat the market is, well, for most people, it's a losing proposition.
A losing game, like Ellis's other book title suggests.
Exactly. It's not just hard. The odds are kind of stacked against you. You've got transaction costs, taxes. Markets are pretty efficient these days. What's really insightful, I think, is their point that the real power isn't winning these little battles against the market. It's about participating in its general, long-term upward trend. It's about harnessing the market's tendency to grow over time, rather than constantly trying to outsmart it.
Okay, that right there challenges a lot of what people assume. So, if we're not trying to outsmart the market, where does wealth building actually start? And this is where they lay down what they call the absolute foundation. It's simple: save more, spend less. They state it pretty bluntly. The foundation of wealth is high savings, not high income. That's a big statement. It's not just about being frugal, it's a fundamental priority shift.
It really is. And it raises a key question. If it's so basic, why do so many people, well, overlook it? Or maybe just struggle with it? We're kind of conditioned culturally, aren't we? Focus on getting that raise, thinking a bigger paycheck is the only way. But Malkiel and Ellis point out, look, a high income without saving much, you're just running on a treadmill.
Right, you spend what you earn, basically.
Exactly. But they show how compounding that power of time, working on your money, when applied to consistent early saving, it creates this like almost exponential growth. Just picture starting to save, say, $100 a month at 25 versus starting at 35. That decade head start. It lets your money make money on itself for longer. It can literally mean hundreds of thousands more by retirement. It's like starting a snowball rolling down the longest possible hill. Want to start early.
That snowball analogy is great. Bigger and faster over time. But even knowing that, people still mess up, right? Which brings us to maybe the trickiest part they discuss: avoiding mistakes. They say most investors don't fail because they lack knowledge necessarily. It's because they make emotional decisions. Chasing hot stocks because they're hot, or even worse, panic selling when the market dips. Our own heads get in the way.
Yeah, and if you connect that to the bigger picture, it's really about understanding basic human behavior, isn't it? Our psychology. Malkiel and Ellis talk about things like loss aversion, how losing $100 feels way worse than gaining $100 feels good. That makes people sell low.
Right, the fear takes over.
Totally. Or hurting. Everyone else is buying something, so you feel you have to jump in too, even if it's overpriced.
Yeah.
FOMO, basically. The book really encourages having a strategy, a plan, and sticking to it almost, dispassionately. You counter those gut feelings. It's almost like they're saying investing should be boring, and that boredom is actually good for your wealth.
Making investing boring. I like that. It's definitely not the message you get from financial TV. So, okay, If our emotions are the enemy, what's the practical tool? What's the hero in their playbook for countering those impulses and just getting those market returns? Their answer seems really clear, almost emphatic. Invest in index funds.
Absolutely. And what's really powerful here is just the sheer weight of evidence they bring. They champion index funds for like three main reasons. One, they're incredibly low cost. Two, they're really simple to grasp. And three, the big one, they consistently outperform most actively managed funds over the long haul.
Actively managed, meaning funds where a manager is trying to pick the winners.
Exactly. Whereas an S&P 500 index fund, for example, doesn't try to pick stocks. It just buys a tiny piece of all 500 companies in the index.
Yeah.
Boom, instant diversification across the broad market. The kind of genius of it, as I explained, is that by not trying to beat the market, you essentially become the market. You capture its average returns minus the drag of high fees or the risk of some star manager suddenly making a terrible bet.
It really highlights that simplicity can be incredibly effective. It sounds almost too easy, maybe, but the data.
The data is very compelling, yeah.
And speaking of simplicity and effectiveness, that flows right into two other points they link together. Diversify wisely and keep costs low. How do those work hand in hand?
Well, this brings up that critical question.
Yeah.
Just how much are high fees costing you over, say, decades? Malkiel and Ellis are pretty relentless on this. They say costs matter more than most investors realize. Why? Because fees just silently eat away your returns, like a hidden tax.
A small percentage adds up massively over time, I guess.
Hugely. Even a seemingly small 1% annual fee can chew up a third, maybe more, of your potential wealth over 30 or 40 years. That's compounding working against you, so you fight that with low costs. And then you pair it with smart diversification. And by diversification, they don't just mean owning like 5 different tech stocks. They mean spreading your money across different types of assets, stocks, bonds, maybe some real estate.
Different baskets, basically.
Right. And also across different places, different countries, different economies. So if one area hits a rough patch, your whole portfolio doesn't sink. It's like a balanced diet for your money. Protect you from putting all your eggs in one basket while keeping costs low. Make sure you actually keep more of the returns you earn. It's a powerful combo.
That image of fees just silently eroding your money.
Yeah, that's potent. It really shows why the boring approach works. Okay, so finally, they seem to tie all this together by stressing the absolute need to focus on the long term and stick to your plan. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme at all, not even close. And if you connect this back, these are the habits, the mindset that lets compounding do its real magic. Look, markets go up and down. That's just what they do. It's inevitable. Constant, really.
And the news loves to hype every wiggle.
Oh, absolutely. The media thrives on that daily noise, right?
Yeah.
Every dip is a disaster. Every rally is a missed opportunity if you're not in. But Malkiel and Ellis teach patience. Consistency, that's what wins. They basically say, tune out the noise. Don't fiddle with your investments based on headlines or what your neighbor's doing. And critically, stay disciplined even when things look scary. When every fiber of your being might be screaming, sell, get out.
That's the hardest part, surely.
It often is. But they show compelling data that trying to time the market jumping in and out almost always leads to worse results than just staying put. Letting time and the market's long-term trend work for you. It's about setting your course, locking it in, and riding out the waves.
Okay, so let's boil this down. What does all this mean for you, listening right now, trying to figure out your financial path? Malkiel and Ellis seem to take this complex world and distill it into, well, truly actionable basics. It's about consistently saving your money, deliberately avoiding those expensive emotional mistakes, spreading your investments, widely diversification, keeping those investment costs rock bottom, and maybe most importantly, having the patience to invest for the long haul and stick with it.
And to really hit home just how powerful this simple approach is, let's bring back that key quote. The most powerful force in investing is compounding if you let it work for you. Yeah. Every single thing we've talked about, saving early, using index funds, staying disciplined, keeping costs low, it's all about setting the stage. It's creating the best possible conditions for that compounding engine to just work. Without you getting in the way with costly errors or unnecessary meddling, it really proves that sometimes quiet, consistent effort beats flashy, complex strategies hands down.
Allowing compounding to work for you. That's a great way to put it. Okay, so here's a final thought, something for you to mull over. Think about adopting just one of these ideas. Starting today, how could that one simple change start to shift your financial future? Maybe it's just setting up that automatic monthly saving, the one you won't touch. Or maybe it's finally switching to that low-cost index fund. Or maybe it's just a promise to yourself. Ignore the market news for the next month. What stands out to you from this deep dive as the single most actionable thing you could do right now? Not something complex, but a simple, consistent action. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the elements of investing. We really hope you feel not just, more informed, but genuinely empowered to apply these principles. They're straightforward, but they are incredibly powerful. Remember, being well informed and disciplined. That's probably your biggest asset on the road to financial freedom. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.